came into the UK as someone's dependent, maybe a spouse or partner, and you are now living in a different city from them, or worse, you are divorced. The new Home Office rules in 2025 could mean you might have to leave the country. Yes, even if you have been here for years. Let me break it down exactly what is changing, why the UK is doing this, and how it affects thousands of families. So, first thing first, what is happening? The Home Office new focus on dependents in 2025. The UK Home Office roll out tighter rules for dependents under spouse visas, skilled worker dependent visas, student dependent visas, and other family routes. One of the biggest updates, they are now actively asking for more evidence that you and your sponsor, the main visa holder, are still together in a genuine relationship, living in the same household or at least in the same city, sharing finances or life responsibilities as a couple. The Home Office says this is to prevent visa abuse cases where someone gets a dependent visa but then lives a total separate life. Sometimes even using the visa as a shortcut to settlement without the relationship being real. The key new rule: separation can cost you your stay. Before, it was easier for dependents to fly under the radar if the relationship broke down as long as no one reported it. Now the Home Office has put system in place to catch and investigate cases where you are divorced or legally separated. You are living in a completely different cities from your sponsor for a long period without valid reasons. Your sponsor has moved abroad, but you are still in the UK under the new rules. If your visa status is based on being someone's dependent, the moment the relationship ends, your permission to stay can also end. How would they check the evidence they want? The Home Office is now requesting dependents to provide proof such as joint tenancy or mortgage agreements, utility bills in both names at the same address, joint bank statements or proof of shared finances, photos and communication records showing you live as a couple, council tax bill showing the same address if they suspect you are living apart, especially in different cities. They may contact your employer, your landlord, or even visit your registered address. If you are divorced or your relationship breaks down, you are legally required to inform the Home Office. In the past, some people kept quiet thinking they could just finish their visa term. That's no longer safe. Failing to notify can be treated as immigration fraud. Once you report the divorce, the Home Office will usually curtail your visa, shorten it, give you about 60 days to either switch to a visa in your own right, e.g. work visa, student visa and so on, or leave the UK, living in another city while it is risky. Now, one of the more surprising changes in 2025 is the emphasis on geographical proximity. If you are in Manchester and your spouse is in London, the Home Office now sees that as a possible red flag unless you have a clear documented reason. For example, let's say your spouse works in one city, you work and study in another. Temporarily, you are caring for a sick family member in another city. You have a work assignment that requires separate locations temporarily without strong evidence, ongoing connection like regular visits, joint travel, or continued financial ties. Your visa could be at risk. Then why the UK is doing this? From the Home Office perspective, abuse cases are rising. Some people get married abroad, come in as a dependent, and live totally separately, sometimes even with another partner. Data sharing between councils, HMRC, NHS, and banks means the Home Office can now detect suspicious partners more easily. The UK government is, under pressure to reduce net migration. Tightening dependent rules is one way to do that. Then let's talk about the real life example here. Let's say Ada comes to UK as a dependent of the husband who is on the skilled worker visa in Birmingham. A year later they separate but don't divorce officially. Ada moves to Leeds for a job before 2025. Ada might have stayed until her visa expired. Now the Home Office can cross-check her GP registration, Leeds address, and national insurance work records. Leeds employer, the fact that her husband starts records show Birmingham. When they see the addresses don't match and there's no solid explanation, they can call her in for an interview or request evidence. If she can't prove the relationship is genuine and ongoing, they may cancel her visa. Then what should you do if you are a dependent? The best thing you can do is keep records. Always have proof you and your sponsor live together or maintain a close relationship. Update the Home Office honestly. If your situation changes, plan ahead. If your relationship might end, look into switching to a different visa route. Get legal advice. Immigration solicitors can sometimes help you find an alternative path. Honestly, this is not surprising. The UK is in a phase where every immigration route is being tightened. If you are a genuine dependent living with your partner, you are probably fine. But the stress is that even innocent cases like temporary work in another city could trigger suspicion. The problem is these checks might disproportionately affect certain groups. For example, spouses of shift workers or people in long distance work contracts. It is also going to create more pressure in already struggling relationships because now even living apart for practical reasons could be immigration trouble. If you are a dependent in the UK in 2025, don't assume nobody will know. The Home Office now has stronger system to detect separation. If you are divorced or separated, act quickly to find your next visa option. Always keep a paper trail of your life together with your sponsor. It's your safety net. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumb up, share with someone that needs to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.